In the previous video, we briefly introduced control flow, and we're going to use that to create a simple menu system in my little informational program about cryptography. This is more or less a flowchart of how that's going to work. The program will start, and it's going to provide some basic starting information, and then it's going to ask them which one they want to learn about. And if they say transpositional, it'll go this way and provide some information, and then end. If they say substitutional, it'll go this way, ask them if they would like to see an example. If not, print just substitutional info, but if they say yes, then substitutional info plus the example, and then end. So we're going to use if-then statements to allow these choices for the user. So this is more or less the program that I had before. I've rewritten a few little chunks of it here or there as far as the actual information goes, but the way the program works itself doesn't have anything new. It just has this series of print commands with a few inputs that serve just as a delay, allowing the user to press enter to continue. So how do I allow the user to control what they learn about through this conditional control flow? We're going to use IfElse statements. So it'll start just the same, and then it'll provide a little bit of information here, and then it's going to ask the question. So I'm going to create a variable. I'm just going to call it menu choice, and it's going to equal whatever the user inputs. So we're going to give them a prompt, and we're going to say type 1 to learn about substitutional ciphers, and or type 2 to learn about transpositional ciphers. Press enter to finalize your choice. It's a little bit of a long prompt, but it will be okay. So then we need to actually have it respond to that, right? So we can do if menu choice double equals 1, then it will do one thing. If menu choice double equals 2, it's going to do something else. Now we could also do else down here as well, and that could be like a sorry, I didn't understand you. So let's talk about what exactly is going on here. Why do we have these double equal signs? We use equals to mean a lot of things in sort of the way that we think, right? So we can mean that something equals something else, like it becomes it, but we can also use it to ask if something is equal to something else. And those are two different ways to use it. For a computer, that's hard, so we actually use two different symbols. This here is an assignment operator. So it actually is taking this data and is putting it there. When we use two of them, it's not an operator. It's not assigning value. It's checking to see if this happens to equal that. I like to think of it sort of as a single equal sign is becomes, so menu choice becomes input, whereas here I like to think of this as two words. So if menu choice is equal to 1, then do something. That might help you, it might not, but that's what I do. So now we need to actually have it do something in here, right? So in Python, we have to use white space very specifically. We actually use it to tell it what is inside of this if statement. The standard is to use 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm just going to grab this block of code here. Let's see, 1 was substitutional. So this whole thing, and just drop it right here. Now, that works for this first one, those 4 spaces, but I still need to space the other thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to space this chunk here because this is all inside of that string, so it doesn't really count. If I were to turn off word wrap, this would go way over there, and you wouldn't see any of that. So, like, if I shrink it way down, right? So you're getting the idea. It's slowly, but you can't really see it anymore, right? But yeah, there we go. So now it's way over there. And if I were to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're all indented the same amount. And if I zoom in, so you can actually see what I was doing, that word wrapping once again breaks those 4 spaces, right? But those 4 spaces are still there, it's just because of that. So anyway, all the actual commands have 4 spaces. This tells it that all 4 of these only happen if that's true. Now we need menu choice 2, which is transpositional. So I'm going to grab all of this text, and it's going to go inside of here. And once again, I need to space everything by 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not this, because this is part of that string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this last one, else, is going to be down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this will be like, well, actually, no, I don't want it to say thank you, goodbye. I want it to say, like, I'm sorry, I didn't understand you, goodbye. So that way, if they type something else, then it'll print that out instead. Now, it would be nice if it would ask them again, but that's a different thing that we aren't talking about yet. We'll get into that later. So now I still want one more if-else statement in here, but let's run this first and make sure it actually works. So I'll launch terminal, cd desktop, Python 3, info.py. Alright, so we've got that opening start. Press enter to continue. Gives a little bit of information. Press enter to continue. Now we've got our choice here. 1, to learn about substitutional ciphers. 2, to learn about transpositional. Now I don't really like how this works. This is not very aesthetically pleasing, but we can fix that later. For right now, let's just focus on this. So I want to do 1. There we go. So it printed that out, and if I press enter to continue, program ended. Oh, I forgot to have it say thank you. Oh, well, that's okay. Now if we run it again, press enter, number 2, transpositional. And if I clear it and run it again, press enter to continue, J. Didn't understand, and it quit. So it worked. My if-else statements worked just like I wanted. Now, if I want it to ask about them seeing an example here inside of this, I can just do a whole nother if-else menu choice type thing. Let's put a little bit of space in here, because this is getting a little messy, right? If I want another if-else statement happening here, but only if they chose 1 to begin with, then I can do that, but all of this has to be spaced out by 4 as well. So we have a new if menu choice 2, maybe I make a new variable, is equal to 1, then we're going to do one thing, and else do something else. I can do that. I don't have to actually specify if menu choice 2 is equal to 2. I could just say else, and it will do whatever else, assuming they don't do 1. You don't have to have elifs in there. The only reason I used it a moment ago was to show you that they exist. Now we need to actually define menu choice 2, because I didn't do that yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Menu choice 2 is going to equal input, and this will be, would you like to see an example? Yes or no. And actually, let's make this yes, since that's hopefully what they're typing in. And actually, we don't even need an else. I can actually delete else as well, and it'll only run whatever's inside of here, assuming that they type yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for it to match up with here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can actually have it do something. Now, just like up here, this word wraparound might break that nice white space, but it's okay. So now I'm going to actually open my program from one of the previous videos on @bash. I'll grab all of that, and I will just paste it in here. Now there's a better way to do this that we'll get to later on, but for right now, we haven't gone over that, so I'll just have to put it all in there like this, and then just space it all out. So that's 4 spaces twice, so 8 spaces, and I just copied, and I'm going to just paste it in front of all of these. Alright, and we stop there because right here is that other menu choice from earlier where they chose 2 to learn about transpositional ciphers instead. So let's save it. And we can close the @bash program, and we can reopen this, and we can try it again. So cd desktop, python3 info.py, welcome, blah, 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 1. Press enter to continue. Would you like to see an example? Yes. So here's an example. Type in your message. Hello there. Press enter to continue. There we go. And then the program ended. So it worked. Now there's definitely some things that we can do to make this better. And I would also like to make an example for the transpositional, so that way there's one for each, because it seems a little unbalanced for there to be an example for only one. So we'll take care of those things in an upcoming video.